I'm Charles Navarro. I'm the co-founder and president of Ellen Engineering. I started the business in 2002. When we first started Ellen Engineering, we thought we'd only be making components for air-cooled Porsches like our Nicky cylinders. And a few years later, I was out in California for a Porsche show, and Bruce Anderson came up to me. And for those of you who don't know who Bruce Anderson was, he was the guru of everything air-cooled, especially air-cooled Porsche engines. And he told me, Charles, you have to do something about these water-cooled Porsches. And the first thing I did, came home, bought a Boxster, bought a bunch of broken M96 engines, took them apart, figured out what needed to be addressed. And one of those items was IMS bearing. Talking to shops, especially Porsche dealerships, they really didn't have an option. There was no part number, no tools, no service interval. So we came up with all those items. And this predates the ESIN class action lawsuit by many years. It wasn't a widely known issue until that class action lawsuit, but we were the first to market. And our initial product was IMS Retrofit, which uses a ceramic hybrid bearing like you see here. What's special about this bearing, it's our single row pro. And you see there's an external snap ring groove, and we use a wire lock. And through a patented process, we replace the single row bearing with a dual row bearing. In essence, you're doubling the load capacity for that IMS bearing. And another big difference is that there is no grease seal in the bearing. And since the intermediate shaft is submerged in oil, having the grease seal removed allows oil to go in there and cool and lubricate the bearing, where the factory bearing has a grease seal on it. A few years later, we came up with our IMS Solution. And the big difference between this is you're backdating the M96 engine with a plain oil-fed bearing like a Metzger air-cooled engine. And it works just like in a Metzger. So other than in a Metzger engine, it's fed pressurized oil internally, where this one has an external oil feed port. It's fed pressurized oil in here. There's passages machined in, and then it goes to the journal surface. And then the bearing, which is this bushing that's made out of a special high silicon aluminum, that rides on that surface. And this is designed for the lifetime of the engine, where the retrofit bearing was always intended as a preventative maintenance item that you do X number of years and X number of miles. Today, you're going to be talking to Sam, and he runs these parts. As you'll see today, we manufacture all our products in the United States right here in Momence, Illinois. And I'd like to hand it off to Sam, and he will talk to you about the manufacturing processes for the retrofit as well as the solution.
So this is where it all starts. We start with a blank of 4140 pre-hard material. This gets loaded into the lathe for the first operation. This goes in. After about 10 minutes, we get this guy out. Machine both sides, and then it'll be ready for operations in the mill. So, we've got our flange finished in the lathe. From here we'll inspect it for conformance and get it ready to move on to the mill. So my first checks out of the machine are to look at the surface finishes, make sure the tools have done their job. Everything looks to be as it should. So this part looks pretty good. From here it'll go on to the mill for finished machining. We'll hold it in a few different positions. The first position it'll sit in is like this. and all the excess material gets taken away. So at the end of that position, what we end up with is right here. So after that position, the next location puts in our port, and then final location is our last oil hole. So we have 4 positions in the mill. First position, second position, third position, and fourth position. And from there they get sent out for outside operations. We send them out for heat treating, and then they get ground to size. After that they come back in-house for inspection, and then after that they get sent out one more time for our diamond light coating, our DLC coating.